Hello everybody and welcome back to F1 22 with me, Dan, and the Slothz team. We'll get underway into uncharted territory very shortly with the Dutch Grand Prix. If you watched Season 1, you will know, of course, that we only got 10 races into that season before I gave up and went on a several month-long hiatus, which resulted in me just skipping the rest of the season. Anyway, we've just picked up another chassis upgrade, which should hopefully bring us out of the bottom of the table when it comes to performance in that area. I actually went on track and did P1 because I wasn't very familiar with this circuit, which is why you're seeing most of this completed already, and why we're basically just spending this time right now tidying up what's left, picking up the remaining upgrades that we can get for practice. On to P3 now, getting the final 75 resource points. Failing that, we've got plenty of time because it's just these two that are left. And finally, there we go, turbo durability. Right, on with the race, I guess. Yes, and as I was saying, it is of course uncharted territory for us, getting into the 11th race of the season on the channel. The Dutch Grand Prix only featuring in a couple of races in the past, all the way back on F1 2021, I believe as part of the Williams career. On that particular season, it wasn't a particularly good circuit, purely because the downforce wasn't very good in the Williams that we were racing in. Anyway, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you know when the rest of the season is uploaded. We've got 6 races left, and we'll get onto the starting grid where we've got Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz leading the pack away into turn 1, followed by George Russell in the lead Mercedes, and then the other Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. Behind them we have Lewis Hamilton, he's alongside old rival Fernando Alonso. Behind them we have Max Verstappen at his home Grand Prix, he's alongside his teammate Sergio Perez. And finally, rounding out the top 10, we have Esteban Ocon alongside his rival Pierre Gasly. Behind them we have Kevin Magnussen, and we line up just behind him in 12th. Following us, we have Lance Stroll in the other Alpine, missing out on the top 10. He's alongside Robert Schwartzman. Then we have the other AlphaTauri of Yuki Tsunoda alongside the other Alfa Romeo of Daniel Ricciardo, followed by Oscar Piastri and Mick Schumacher. Coming up to the penultimate row, we have Théo Pourchaire alongside Nicholas Latifi, and finally on the final row, it's Zhou Guanyu and Alex Albon. Well, here we go then, it's over to the actual Grand Prix, starting midway up the field. You can see us just off to the right of the middle of the screen. Actually getting overtaken by an Alfa Romeo. Robert Schwartzman gets his way past us off of the line. We dive up the inside alongside Lance Stroll, now battling for the position we started in. Swap into the onboard view now, stuck behind Kevin Magnussen. We go round the outside into the banked hairpin, and we actually gain a couple of positions there, now fighting for P10 with Pierre Gasly as we come through this go-karting-like section down towards this big sand dune gravel bunker that we've got going on here. Confusing, of course, there the sports of Formula 1 and golf in an odd turn of events, with Pierre Gasly there just trying to get back past us unsuccessfully, I might add, as we ride back on board with the TV cams. Yeah, Gasly backing away after his failed attempt to get past us, so we plough on in pursuit of Esteban Ocon. And then the 2 Red Bulls, who for some reason have started quite far back down the pack. The top 4 teams, I guess you can count Alpine as a top 5 team, but the top 4 particularly up and down all over the place this season when it comes to performance, and it looks as though at the moment Red Bull are on a bit of a losing streak when it comes to how good their car is comparative to the rest of the field, as we dive down the inside of Esteban Ocon, taking P9 away from the Alpine. And yes, of course, reliability will be a key factor, although we haven't had any changes in the regulations since last season. At least effective reliability, as we see the onboard shot of me going down the inside of Esteban Ocon, and just to rub it in his face, here it is again, from his angle. Into turn 1 he goes, and he loses the position. I have, of course, found out what exactly those wheel covers are doing, being stainless steel coloured or white is because I had modular mods installed, and I think one of the default templates for that mod pack is colourless wheels. So mods coming next season. Anyway, into turn 1 again, round the outside this time of the Red Bull of Sergio Perez. He'll be doing his damnedest to stop us from getting past him, not only because he's a racing driver, but also because he wants to protect his teammate Max Verstappen from an embarrassing loss of position at his home Grand Prix, as he literally takes it to the extreme of smashing his car into the side of us. There was also a little bit of argy-bargy for me, but that's irrelevant in this situation because I'm commentating and he isn't. Anyway, we get past him nice and easy, and we ride on board now in pursuit of the home hero Max Verstappen as we come into the approach for the DRS zone. The detection point is just around this corner, or around the next corner. I forget where it is now. I think it was there. I think we just passed it. And we get a great run through this final corner. This final corner is incredibly fun if you can go around it flat, of course. And we go round the outside of Verstappen into turn 1. He didn't really stand a chance against our jet level speed that we've carried over throughout most of this season. Unfortunately, our cornering ability is still dog shit, but we can still go fast in a straight line. And as the field begins to peel off into the pits, you can see Lewis Hamilton all the way down in 18th alongside Charles Leclerc. We have to respond here and follow in the 4 cars ahead of us. Interesting combination we've got here. We've got a Ferrari, a Mercedes, McLaren, a Slothz car, and a Red Bull, all in close proximity to each other as we make that incredibly realistic turn into our pit box. Very slow on the back right, actually. We lose a position there to Max Verstappen as we come out of the pit lane. I'll have to see where that's cost us in terms of track position. In fact, there's actually Sergio Perez and Oscar Piastri who get round us as we pull a sick drift on the pit lane exit. And even Esteban Ocon, who we overtook right at the start of the race on lap 2, has now got back past us again. So we've got all of that work to do from scratch. Not to mention the fact we're on cold tyres, so it's even more difficult at this point. But as you can see, old reliable Joe Guan Yu, more than likely, is up ahead, getting in everyone's way, and has slowed the pack down, as is a Williams, which we will assume is Nicholas Latifi, as we NASCAR our way around the final corner and overtake Esteban Ocon on the run down to turn 1. Hit the brakes nice and hard there. He tries to attack us, but we do pull out our restraining order and he backs off in good time. And the position is once again ours up at the P9, but we've still got a bit of work to do now because we've got to get past those 2 Red Bulls. And speak of the devil, we're on lap 13 and behind the Red Bull of Sergio Perez as we come down towards the San June gravel trap, which I've said correctly this time. I promise I've not been watching the full swing and Drive to Survive, but I might give it a go. Definitely Drive to Survive. If anyone's watching that, comment down below. What's your favourite episode so far? I'm yet to start, but I will be doing it. I've got this week off. Anyway, down towards the... I don't know what this is. 90-degree corner followed by a hairpin. Well, we got through. We got through past the Red Bull. Absolutely sent it down the inside of Sergio Perez, and we'll be on our way. He will, of course, get DRS though. As we come down the pit straight, we actually know that quite clearly as we nearly throw it onto the grass through the final corner. Sergio Perez though, he's having a look down the inside, but we cut him off there and we keep P8 to ourselves. And up next, of course, is Max Verstappen once again, but here is the on-board down the inside of Sergio Perez there, just about keeping it on the circuit, in fact nearly crashing into the grandstand whilst trying to correct that braking manoeuvre. This is on board with Sergio Perez. I don't think he was expecting it. I mean, looking at his helmet, he's not even looking, which is a little bit inconsiderate, to be honest, because he missed what I think was a pretty good overtake. And we rejoin now on lap 17. This is approaching the same section that we just overtook Sergio Perez on. You can see Lewis Hamilton doing a very good job up ahead of holding everyone up. Has bunched up this nice little pack, including Max Verstappen and the two championship leaders, Charles Leclerc and Fernando Alonso. And so we'll have to pick off at least one or two of these into turn one. It looks as though the unfortunate fall today is going to be Max Verstappen as we go down the inside. And he will be absolutely fuming about that. Although, interestingly, he hasn't really tried to fight that too much. So perhaps he's just given up. But he drops to 8th. We stay up in 7th. And now it's a case of trying to herd down Fernando Alonso as quickly as possible, see if we can put some distance between us and Verstappen. As all we're really doing here is just affecting the championship order as we go wide onto the grass there to try and take as much of a wide angle into that corner as possible. Max Verstappen has apparently just woken up from his Sunday nap and has decided he wants to go right into the diffuser of our car and steal our technology of our ground effect. It's not working though, we are pulling away. DRS is active thanks to Fernando Alonso going a little bit slow in front of us, and the Red Bull is not able to get past on this occasion. Now, unless we get extremely lucky, we look as though we're going to be finishing right here ahead of Max Verstappen, but behind Fernando Alonso as we come around the final corner. We're going to get DRS, but the finish line is too close to the final corner. There goes Lewis Hamilton and this traffic light train of cars over the finish line. And, well, I've got some music playing in my ear, which I was not expecting to hear. We get driver of the day, though, which is excellent. And we'll get to see who won that race in just a second. It's a Ferrari, that we do know from these shots of celebration. And it is, in fact, Carlos Sainz. So I don't actually remember winning a single race this season, so this might be his first. At least in Season 2 anyway. He's not had much of a good season, considering the fact that he's fighting me in the championship and I'm in a crap car. Anyway, there we go. He's got at least one trophy to take away at the end of the season, and it's a good excuse for Ferrari to keep him on when his contract expires. But for now, though, I guess it's on with the race results. And here we are with the race results. Of course, it was Carlos Sainz who picked up the win and the fastest lap, followed by Lando Norris and George Russell. Then we had Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, me, Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez, and Esteban Ocon. Moving over to the Drivers' Championship, Charles Leclerc retains his position at the top of the table ahead of Fernando Alonso. They're followed by Lando Norris, George Russell, Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz, who overtakes us for 7th, then Lewis Hamilton and Esteban Ocon rounding out the top 10. Further down the order, we have Lance Stroll, Yuki Tsunoda, Alex Albon, Kevin Magnussen, Pierre Gasly, Daniel Ricciardo, Oscar Piastri, Nicolas Latifi, Teo Pourchaire, Robert Schwartzman, Mick Schumacher, and Zhou Guanyu. And over in the Constructors' Championship, McLaren retain their position at the top of the table over Ferrari, who leapfrog Red Bull into 2nd. Then we have Mercedes, Slothz, Alpine, AlphaTauri, Williams, Haas, Alfa Romeo, and Aston Martin. That's all for now. We'll catch you next time for Singapore.